everyone, and welcome to another episode of Canned Air, your tribute to pop culture. I am Jeremy Colley.
And I'm Jack Doherty.
And our guest today, returning to the show, no strangers of the Canned Air Nation. If you watch our show, you've seen these guys before. We first had them on, I'd say, probably about 4 years back to talk about the Beverly Crushers' first album, Sick Bay. Then we welcomed them back again to talk about their album, Ghost Beef, the self-titled album, Ghost Beef, which I actually have right here. Arby's-themed album. I mean, what more could you ask for? You're not going to find that anywhere else, people.
The world was begging for it, Jeremy.
It really was, and it's left an impression on me. You know, I got so excited when I saw you guys were going to be on. Guess where I stopped? Before...
Nice.
Making me so jealous. It's like a 40-minute drive to the closest one from my house.
I know. That's why I did it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rub your nose in shit, but I couldn't help myself at the same time.
A fun fact about Arby's that got shot down the other day. I thought I knew what Arby's stood for, and someone at work was just like, yeah, it's the initials.
Of the brothers.
Roast beef, Arby's. But yeah, it's the brothers. But I had heard that it was American Roast Beef Youngstown, which is a city in Northeast Ohio, which I'm from. So I thought I was special, but clearly I'm not.
Clearly you were wrong.
Well, the first Arby's did open in Ohio. It's from Brookman, Ohio. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. What do you mean the brothers? Was there a brothers Arby's? Like the McDonald's brothers?
It's the Raffle brothers.
Yeah, that's what
were the two people who started it. So the Arby's, yeah.
Wow.
And then roast beef, so RB, so they called it Arby's.
Yeah.
For the Raffle brothers, so it's all circular. It's a circle.
Shit. I'm still learning about Arby's because of these guys. Thank you.
They're a very storied franchise.
Yeah, and we're not even through the introduction yet. I haven't even told anyone who we're talking to yet. That's how infectious it is talking to these guys. They're back today to talk about their newest album, Enterprise. We welcome back Rob Kassees and Tom Monaghan. Gentlemen, thanks for being back.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Love to be here. I still get compliments on my Canned Air t-shirt when I wear it out. People always compliment me on it. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine what they say. What the hell is a Canned Air?
Yeah, right.
They get the Spaceballs reference, so they're like, oh, yeah,
Guess we did something right.
Yeah.
It's always a blast talking with you guys, and very excited to have another good conversation here. But before we talk about their new album and what they've been up to, we're going to go around talking a little bit about our favorite soundtracks from over the years. And soundtracks are not something we get a lot of these days. We get scores, but like when it comes to, and that is a soundtrack. I have a lot of favorite scores, but rarely do we get like the compilation of songs anymore. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
So much about soundtracks.
So interestingly enough, I just rewatched Pulp Fiction for the first time in probably 15 years, like 2 weeks ago. And first of all, goddamn, does that movie hold up? It is amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
But I was re-impressed by how inventive that soundtrack is and how many different genres it touches on and how still consistent it all is within that world of the movie. There's so many really, really great tracks on there. I was blown away by that song, If Love's a Red Dress, Hang Me in Rags. Ooh, hauntingly beautiful, amazing song, which I thought was like from the 50s or something like that, but it was from a woman. She made it in the 90s. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that does not sound like what I thought.
Did that play? Do you remember?
I vaguely remember that song. I think just mostly from the lyrics, but
I'm trying to think of exactly when it was playing.
Yeah, I don't think it was super prominently featured. It was like on a radio or something in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, since we're already talking about Pulp Fiction, I mean, that was on my short list of soundtracks that I owned that made a big impression on me musically. And of course, part of it is pairing it with a terrific movie, as you mentioned, Tom. But I think it is kind of a rarity that you not only compile a collection of songs, but that they themselves, a lot of them are deep dives or deep cuts that maybe you haven't heard, or you're reviving old material. I mean, it's certainly Miserloo, which was a hit, I believe, in the 50s or early 60s, had a huge resurgence because of Pulp Fiction, right? So it's kind of like they're reintroducing the world to songs, and then that idea of internal consistency, it feels like it has a consistent mood, and that makes it very listenable, like an album would be.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's rare to find a soundtrack that does that. You know what I mean? At least I think so, because a lot of them are just songs that happen to be in the movie, but where they all seem to gel with one another. That's kind of rare.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's rare because film directors just don't often care enough about this thing called music
Yeah.
to guide themselves through it. And I know these days, maybe sometimes if you have a big budget, you might be able to hire a person expressly for this purpose, like a T-Bone Burnett type who goes and researches songs. But I have to imagine Quentin Tarantino is just a fan of music, and that's part of the reason he was able to compile these great soundtracks.
Sure. Django Unchained, another solid soundtrack. Not that I've sat and listened to the whole thing through, but the music I remember from the movie was incredible. Very spaghetti western, but then there's that like mashup where Jamie Foxx is actually singing. I can't remember the name of it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Toward the end of the movie, like when they're having the big shootout in Candyland.
Okay.
I remember the one you hear Jamie Foxx in it saying, "I like the way you die, boy," or something like that. You know what I'm talking
okay.
about?
Yeah.
That was
You know,
really cool.
on my Tarantino journey, I have not gotten to Django Unchained yet because I did watch I watched Kill Bill 1 and 2 after I watched Pulp Fiction. And Kill Bill also amazing music. And that's the one that was scored by the RZA. And so, another crate diving kind of guy that was able to find some of those lost gems.
Are you saying you've never seen Django, or you just
No,
haven't
no, no.
rewatched it?
I haven't rewatched it recently.
Okay,
It's probably
thank God.
been
Haven't
6 or
seen
7
it.
years since I watched it. You haven't seen it?
Why are
Oh,
you
man.
bragging
No.
about that?
No, I have. I started it the one night, but I was just like, I just can't right now. It was not
Were
time.
you sitting on the couch when you started it? Was it after
Yeah.
9?
No, I don't remember when it was. I think it was a weekend, and I think I was just like, I had other stuff to do, so I was like, nope, the universe doesn't want me to watch it yet.
It is
When
a long
does,
watch.
does it?
You've got to watch it. It's fucking great. It's one of his best. That and Inglorious Bastards too.
I forgot that was actually a Tarantino movie, Django. So
Oh.
that puts the urgency on there a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it clocks in at like a shade under 3 hours, so it's a commitment, but it's a great journey.
Doesn't
that's
seem
nothing.
like 3 hours though, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Yeah.
Except
flies
when the
by.
director himself is on the screen, then it sort of feels like 4 hours.
Tarantino
And
and
you
his
hit a lull.
yeah, he's like, all right, who's the most racist character in the movie? All right, I'm gonna play that guy. Yeah.
That can be me. Yeah. Oh man, one thing about that movie, totally unmusic related. I'm sure you guys have heard though, when Leonardo DiCaprio's yelling at Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx, and he slams his hand down. You know, when he starts bleeding, that was like legit. He like really cut his hand and just kept acting through it. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
he was so much better in that than he was in The Revenant. And I can't believe that he won the Oscar for The Revenant and not for Django Unchained. He was amazing in that movie.
I still haven't seen The Revenant.
It's good. It's not nearly as good as Django Unchained. I think they might have been like, we can't give a white actor an Oscar for saying the N-word like 700 times over the course of the movie.
That's a strong point. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's another. I've only seen that one once, and I need to watch it again. I've been really wanting to watch it again, but I liked it a lot.
Is that about racing?
No, that one
No.
is about like it's
no.
all about like in around the Sharon Tate murders in Hollywood and like
That's
Charlie
right.
Manson and all that shit.
That's right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
but it's more just about Hollywood, which is always fun, I think. It's very
Oh
much a
yeah,
mood
but I
piece,
mean, I just
right?
was saying like it's set during that. That's what's
Sure.
going on
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the film, like that and the Natalie Wood and like all that stuff.
Yep.
But that Bruce Lee scene was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I dug that.
His family apparently got pretty upset about that.
Yeah,
But
they did.
he was apparently kind of an asshole by all accounts. But, I mean, he probably earned the right to be.
Stands to reason. Well, I don't know. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you need to be an asshole or cocky. But I hope he's not. I hope that was over dramatization of how he really was. But
I probably was, but I'm really not good at much, and I'm already an asshole. So I'm sure if I had any kind of skill like Bruce Lee, I would be insufferable.
well, you guys have a few albums that would beg to
Just-
differ.
Just to add nunchucks into the equation.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Tom's pick, correct?
Yes.
What's Rob? What do you got?
I'm going to go hard left turn, at least in terms of coolness, and just speak to something that was personally significant to me, which was the soundtrack to the film Stand By Me.
Oh, wow.
And the movie's set in the 50s, and it's about young kids, and so it's full of all these 50s hits like Get a Job and Yakety Yak and things, and the song Stand By Me, of course, is also featured on it. And I just listened to the heck out of that when I was a kid. And again, it feels like one of these things, even though it is just a compilation of hits from yesteryear in this case, and not so much the deep cut thing we were just talking about, it's internally consistent. It felt like it introduced me to a genre, or at least a time period of music that I wasn't as familiar with. And so for that reason, I really enjoyed it.
It's like when you get the like the golden oldies CDs that you could used to find at the store and stuff, you know, from front to back, they're typically awesome. You know, it's funny you say that, you know, not only the music of the time period, but kind of feeling the time period itself in a way. One of my first job was working at a Tasty Freeze, like a little Dairy Queen, okay, in a very small town that itself was out of date. And the woman who ran the place, all she ever had on in there was oldies, the very songs you're speaking of.
Sure.
And the building itself was built in like the 40s, 50s. So nothing had changed. So it felt like going through time. I felt like I worked back in the fucking 50s. You know what I mean? But that music had a great deal to do with it. What?
That's a little soda hop.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's
Wow.
pretty much what it was. It was a cool job, but that's what that made me think of. Sorry to derail you.
No, that's
Simpler times when instead of having a new instrument, you could just put your thumb in your mouth and make a popping noise.
And you were the bee's knees. Yeah. Wow. All right. That was a good pick, though. That was a good pick. I need to watch that movie again. It's been a long time, but damn, it's a good one.
It's a very endearing film. I think I first watched it when I was the age of the kids in it, which might be 11 or so.
Oh, wow.
And but I do think it holds up. I've watched it in the last 10 years. It's a Rob Reiner flick. It's got great actors in it.
So many,
including Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton, aka Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, we had him on the show. When was that, Jack? About 3 or 4 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
That is quite the get, I must say.
Yeah,
he was cool. He was really cool.
That won't happen again. But that movie, I always think about the leeches, the train tracks, and then when they actually get to the body, you know.
Yeah.
And was that Kiefer Sutherland?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like the bad guy.
What a good film.
Yeah. I always remember the scene where they're telling the story about the pie eating contest that everybody's vomiting during. That one always stuck out to me.
Lard ass.
Oh, lard ass. I forgot about lard ass.
Yeah. A little film within the film. Yeah. Very memorable.
What a good movie. Damn.
And based on a Stephen King novella, weirdly enough.
How accurate, do you know how accurate the film is to the original source material?
You know, within reason, the Stephen King piece called The Body had a lot more violence in it. Like the bully kids are much meaner to the younger kids, like breaking their fingers and stuff. But
do they also have to cut out the teenager orgy? That is,
I was going to say there's probably an orgy or something like that in there.
Tom, it's a hallmark of the genre. I mean,
wow. So I take it Stephen King wrote a lot about teenage orgies?
Just notably in the movie.
The one from It, yeah.
Or not the movie, the book It has an orgy with a bunch of, like 14-year-olds or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Look, when you write this much material, you can't win them all.
And also are on heroic amounts of cocaine.
Exactly.
Heroic amounts.
Yeah, it was the time back then when that stuff was written.
I actually found myself in a used bookstore the other day by chance, and there was a whole wall of Stephen King's material, and it just struck me how many books that man has published.
Wow, yeah,
I constantly keep hearing him more and more, and I'm like, are you serious? He's got more? Oh, yeah, he's got tons of them. They just keep coming. And he's lots of short stories and stuff, too.
You know what? It's funny in a way that we even find it surprising, because I think if you talk to him, he'd probably just say, yeah, writing is my job, so I do it every day. It's that simple.
Yeah. And he's old as hell right now, too, so he's been around to write a ton.
Right.
He's got to have a backlog of so many books.
Unfinished stuff, too.
Well, yeah, unfinished or things that even are finished, just, like, oh, wait a few years. We need a new book from you, Stephen. Here, take that one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Rob's saying, he's a writer. It's his job. He's always working. He's got to have a plethora of work we haven't seen. Like
Yeah.
when Michael Crichton died, they were going through his computer and found what was it? Dragon Teeth, the book
Hmm.
Dragon Teeth, which ended up being really good. I imagine that when
Oh, I didn't read that one.
yeah,
Was
it's
it?
all in like the mid to late 19th century when like dinosaur bones are first being discovered out west.
Oh,
So this kid fresh out of college joins an exploration group, and they have to go out west to find these bones, but at the same time avoid Native American tribes, and it's pretty interesting, man.
nice. He's one of the authors that really got me into reading when I was a young kid.
I can
I read all
understand
his
that.
stuff.
Yeah, I was like a big Andromeda Strain fan and Congo, reading the hell out of that. Yeah.
I remember being excited because I had read the book Jurassic Park. I was excited when I heard they were making the movie. That's how much of a young nerd I
Wow.
was.
Okay, I didn't even know the name until the movie came out. So you're the OGs. You guys know.
Are you guys excited for the new Jurassic Park coming out with mutant dinosaurs?
I mean, I'll watch it. They've been a little hit and miss.
Yeah.
The last
Next
one-
time I'm on an
last
airplane,
one.
I'll watch that one. That's about
Right.
the setting for it. I'll watch
Right.
it if I have nowhere to go for 5
Or
hours.
forced to. Yeah.
What are you talking about, mutant dinosaurs?
Oh, you haven't seen? They're like some kind of weird mutant looking dinosaurs. I'll
You're
send
not
you a
talking like
picture.
humanoid shit like they were talking years ago, are you?
No, there's not dinosaur looking dinosaurs either. I'll
All
have to
right.
send-
Well, we don't have
Yeah.
to dissect
Well, you
it
know
here.
where the science is these days, and this is a task for the script writers, I suppose, or the special effects guys. But apparently, we really don't know much about what dinosaurs actually looked like just based on their bones. You can't really do a great
Right.
job
yeah.
of guessing it, right? So there's a lot of possibilities that we haven't explored yet.
You're right. The only reason I freak out is because one of the original concepts for Jurassic Park 3 that got scrapped was that dinosaur blood had been mutated with human blood, and they were like actually upright, walking, talking man dinosaur, like man bear pigs kind of things. And that's just going over a line I can't. And what the fuck is Scarlett Johansson? She can't be that hard up for work. Why is she doing this new movie, man? It seems beneath her, no?
To quote Krusty the Clown, they backed a dump truck full of money up to my house. I'm not made of sound.
Touche. I'll still see it. I'll be disappointed, but I'll still see it.
There, I threw a picture in the chat.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I think it just went to you guys.
Oh, nice. I can see it.
Oh, that went to the group,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, the D-Rex.
Right?
Wow.
Okay, well, it still looks stupid, but I can deal with that. It's not a humanoid.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go full Sharknado on this thing. Why not?
Well, it seems so stupid because, in Jurassic World, the whole point was this, going off Ian Malcolm shit. Nature finds a way. This can't be contained. These dinosaurs are going to find a way off this island. This series showed, they're off the island. They are now mainland, which I would expect this franchise to keep following.
Yeah.
The progression of dinosaurs and people coexisting, yada, yada. This movie, they're just going back to yet another island. They put the worst of the worst on this island. So, what the fuck are we doing, man?
Yeah, I want to see like dinosaur wars, where it's just like a whole army fighting a gigantic group of T-Rexes or something like that. That's what I want to see. Just
That would
getting
be
blown
tight.
apart with rocket launchers or shit. That'd be
Just
awesome.
mowing them down.
Yeah.
Pete'd be so mad. Be like, they don't even exist anymore. Come on.
No, this thing you sent, Jack, with the upright walking, that's the concept from JP3.
Right.
I remember seeing. But yeah, oh my God. After the last one they did, what was that called? Dominion or whatever? God, it was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Like, let's take a dinosaur movie and make it all about locusts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, but we got to bring back Sam Neill and Laura Dern. Like, they seemed like they were the whole time just like, have you paid me yet? Can I
Yeah.
fucking stop doing this?
That's how Harrison Ford seemed in this new Captain America film. Just like trying to fight off a nap the whole way through it. Just like, where's my money? Like, did I get paid yet?
Talk about the luckiest and somehow grumpiest man of all time.
No
shit.
shit.
You get born looking like Harrison Ford, first of all, a stunningly attractive man.
Yeah.
And then your career goes to places that nobody could ever think it would have gone to. You survive a plane crash that was your own fault because you were piloting one of those little twin
More
engine
than one.
things.
Didn't he
Multiple,
survive
yeah,
more
it's
than one?
multiple plane crashes.
Ah, God damn. And he's still pissed off every time you talk to him. He's like, oh, God, I don't want to talk about these iconic roles that I've played. Like, God damn, dude. Have some
Yeah.
joy.
I don't belong in a
Egotistical,
museum.
Kind of humble. Yeah. Seriously, why would you get back in a plane after the first fucking crash? Like that's your flag, that's your sign. Like I'm done. Like
Yeah.
I'm lucky to walk away from this, but no, let's get back up there.
Well, unless it was something that he knew he did. Well, I won't make sure I won't do that next time.
I'm the best pilot this side of the galaxy.
Yeah, I broke my arm falling off a bike when I was like 14, and I haven't been back on a bike since. So,
Dude, same thing here. I broke my arm
Yeah.
skateboarding. Never again.
yeah,
Never again.
it's called
Let's get
learning a
back-
lesson. Yeah.
I wonder what his disposition is. He's got everything anybody could ever want. Maybe he just doesn't know any better. Maybe he doesn't know a world without that shit.
That's a good point. It's probably been
Maybe
a while since
everything
he's
that
been
we
normal.
think he should be grateful for is just
He's had so much for so long, he just doesn't realize what it was like.
Yeah.
I guess. What else could it be?
Maybe Callista Flockhart is like a huge bitch and just makes him miserable all the time.
You raise a great point, Tom. Something I
The
hadn't
whole
thought
time,
about.
the whole time he's out, he's always grumpy because he's just thinking about having to go back home.
Yeah, he's like fucking Alec McBeal's waiting back there for me.
Yeah.
God damn it, I can't take this shit.
Man.
Topical reference.
She's
They've been
pissed
together
because
a
I left
long
the house.
time,
Now I
too,
don't want to
right?
go back.
They've
Long
been
time,
together
yeah.
over 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually pretty rare these days, you know?
Yeah, especially in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, again, especially if you look like Harrison Ford, I imagine he was not lacking for opportunities with women.
Yeah, that's true. Man. He had Carrie Fisher. That's
Yeah, he did.
Mm.
I don't think that was good for either of them.
I don't know. Have you ever read her book? Seemed like she really wanted him. And that he
Well,
was just
I
It
can
was the
imagine.
drugs.
Yeah.
The drugs.
I don't know. I don't know. But Carrie Fisher, goddamn.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. I would normally turn it over to Jack right here, but I'm going to go first because I have a feeling he's going to try to snake my pick out from under me.
No, I know which one yours is going to be. I
He also picked the David Lynch Dune soundtrack by Toto.
No, he and I have talked about this soundtrack several times in the past. And Rob, you said earlier, it's so, it's awesome when a soundtrack is just as awesome as the movie it accompanies. But there's a rare occasion where the movie's dog shit. Soundtrack is amazing. And I am referencing Queen of the Damned soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
You guys ever
Didn't that
listen?
star like Aaliyah or something like that? Was that her
The
role?
movie,
Yeah,
starred Aaliyah as
Okay.
the Queen of the Damned. And this was, the sequel to Interview with the Vampire, the Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst film. Night and day difference. Very bad. Have you guys seen it? Not seen it?
I have not seen it.
no.
Oh, it's because
Okay.
it has Deftones on it and Disturbed. So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I get the
Yeah, it was
the gist.
a bunch of intertwined groups playing.
A lot of
Wasn't it? Wait,
2000s
or no. That wasn't
early-
the. I was thinking of the Spawn soundtrack, which had two bands merging together in each song.
Well, there was a lot of early 2000s angst on that album. You're not wrong. But the first part of the album, like the first 5 songs, just kind of flow into each other. You don't really know where one stops and the other begins. And I feel like whatever was done there was done specifically for the soundtrack. Excuse me. But then after that, you just kind of start getting some songs you can find on their albums. But something about that, the way that album was put together and it flows. Sometimes you don't know when a song is ended and another one begins. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it was put together perfectly. And I know it probably hasn't aged well. But I
None
still
of us
love
have.
it.
None of
I
us
still
have.
love it. Well, you're right. You're fucking right about that. I feel old as shit. But
I've noticed that there is a band called Kidney Thieves on this album, and I am all about that band name. That's a great band name.
yes. Yeah, I don't think, I wonder if they're still even together. They think they used to be prominent in the 90s, the late
Well,
90s. But,
well,
sorry, go
speaking
ahead.
of that, I think Deftones are on a reunion tour right now.
Are they
They've
really?
got a new one coming out pretty soon, I thought.
I think they just put it back together, and they're touring with Mars Volta. And
hmm
maybe I get an extra dose of Deftones news because I'm living here in Sacramento, where they originate from. But
Oh,
They
okay.
just played a show. I live by Golden Gate Park, and they played. It was maybe about like 6 months ago or something. It was them and System of a Down played a show in Golden Gate Park, and it was a huge deal because neither of them had
Damn.
played in a very long time. And like the color palette of my neighborhood changed radically on that weekend. Everybody was just wearing black. And I was like, normally it's kind of like a hippie area, but all right, yeah, everybody's in black. That's cool, man.
Wow. That'd be a cool show. God damn, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think tickets were insanely expensive and hard to get.
Tickets are nuts. Though, we just bought some concert tickets for May that I'm very excited about that weren't they were expensive, but not overly expensive. Last band that's ever been on my list to see before I die, going to see AC/DC finally.
Oh,
Are
nice.
you really?
Yeah.
Well,
That'd
at
be
least
fun.
you get the original singer at least. Since
Yeah.
he's going to be back.
Well, not the original, Bon Scott.
Well, no, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Brian. Yeah.
Right.
It's at the Brown Stadium, and
Nice.
got front toward the middle bowl was
Sorry, Jeremy. We know it as the Factory of Sadness.
so do we.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. That's the only band that I never got to see that I wanted to see. And let's just pray that they all live till May. But and get that in there. But yeah, they're doing a 13 date stadium tour this summer. So
Nice.
stoked.
That should be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
hope
great.
so, man.
Yeah.
I hope it's not them just kind of meandering around. You know, I don't know. Last few clips I've seen of them, Angus. I mean, we're all, like you said, we're all getting older. I just hope it's still good. I know they were like having a falling out with Brian as of somewhat late. Like he was having problem with his ears, and they just got rid of him and like brought Axl Rose on tour with them, which I
There was
thought.
his throat. I thought he had issues with his vocal cords or his throat that he had to stop. I thought.
I don't remember something to that effect. But they
Yeah, they
replaced his
brought
ass overnight.
Axl.
Yeah. They're like, he's being too much of a diva. Let's bring in Axl Rose.
What a fucked up thing, though. After all that time, just to be like, fuck off. You know, I'm Axl.
Yeah.
Axel can unite us all.
But Christ, it wasn't what? It wasn't a year. Axl can unite us all, can he? But it wasn't a year after Bon Scott was dead that they had Brian Johnson brought in, correct?
Yeah, because they were right in the middle of making Back in Black when he died. So I think they wanted to quickly finish things off, and that's when they held auditions, and they did it pretty quick.
And boy, did they choose a good singer. Fuck. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Geeking out on AC/DC here. Jack, what about you, sir?
One soundtrack that I always loved. Got me made fun of one time because I was at the Jiffy Lube where a bunch of my friends work, get my oil changed, and I had the tape deck, the tape in the tape deck, and they were like, "Hey, what do you listen to there, Jack?" Pop it out, and it was the Lion King soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the only Disney movie that I know all the songs to.
Hey,
Is the Lion King, because that
was
one
it
was so
Elton
fun.
John?
No, that was Tarzan. Or no.
No, that was Elton
The
John,
main
yeah.
song was
Yeah.
Elton John. Yeah.
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 Does that still work to lure kids into the van? I think they would have aged out of that by now.
Come on, kids.
Well, this
Who
is-
can't wait to be king? Come on.
This was back when I was like 16, so
Okay. No,
I don't
honestly,
even have a
it's
tape
good
deck
soundtrack.
anymore.
Disney writes good songs. I
They
think
do.
Tom and I are on board for this. That's good composition, always good singing, good arrangement details. It's cool.
True.
Well, it's not
All
cool, but I
those-
mean, it is good.
All those big 90s Disney movies had pretty good soundtracks. Aladdin's was amazing, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Aladdin's the
Yeah.
best personally. That Arabian Nights, ooh, that's so
Oh,
good. Yeah.
come on down, stop on by, hop a carpet and fly.
Yeah.
Yes, that one is, oh man, I'm gonna have to go listen to it. That was a staple of childhood.
Try to get the original version where they say they'll cut off your nose if they don't like your face. Disney changed that years later to say something about like they thought it was stereotyping the people from the Middle East unfairly. But the
Sure.
original lines were, "We'll cut off your nose if we don't like your face." I'm like, yeah, that's badass.
Wow, that got under my radar. I missed that. Man, but Disney has done that quite a bit, right? Going back in and change things.
Yeah.
Like with the Little Mermaid cover, they went and took the big penis out of the castle. That seemed like a
Yeah.
thing they had to do. They took the word sex out of the dust in Lion King there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was such a reach. I mean, sure, you can connect the dots and probably make a bunch of other stuff in there too.
It's so
Yeah.
fucking
I don't know if
funny
it-
too, because none of that stuff would even be known if they didn't go out to the public and be talking about it. It wasn't until I heard about it as a kid that we sat there at the VHS trying to stop it at the exact moment and find it. Would have never known about it otherwise.
Yeah. I was the one in The Little Mermaid where they're getting married. And I think the conceit is that like a mouse has crawled down the priest's pants, but it just looks like he's got a boner. That was always the one that I was like, I know where you're going with this, but it totally just looks like he's rocking a boner in the middle of the wedding.
Wow. No, I didn't get that one. There was one in
No, I've never
Aladdin.
seen that one.
There was one in Aladdin where it's not even anything you see, it's something you hear if you pay attention. When he first shows up to Jasmine's balcony on the rug and he walks off and the tiger comes up and is playing with him. Like the camera goes to her, but you can hear him talking to the tiger and you can, if you listen closely, it's like, "Hey kids, take off your clothes." Something like that. It's so quick, but it's there. At least in those old versions. I'm sure they snuffed that shit out too.
Yeah. Well, they got to make more teen moms because teen moms are just going to plop their kids in front of the TV to watch Disney shit all day. So that's what they're trying for there.
That's true.
That's
it
dark,
makes
man.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we're on the topic of Disney, did you hear the conspiracy about Frozen? That the
No.
reason they had to make a movie called Walt Disney's Frozen is because they wanted to hack the SEO results for people to stop being able to Google about Walt Disney's head being, him being cryogenically
Oh
frozen.
my
Oh
god.
my gosh. Kind of
Wow.
deferred them a little bit.
Right? Can't find
Disney's
those articles
head's
anymore.
Frozen. Oh, the movie. That was a good movie.
Wow. I wonder what's it matter? Why would they care? Like
Because rich people are getting frozen, Jeremy, and they don't want us poors to know.
there's
we're
people
flying
that-
too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Big
they
storage
are-
vault somewhere with a bunch of celeb heads in there.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like
I've watched
Futurama.
Futurama. Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. They've gone back and they try to edit out all of the photos of him smoking because he always had a cigarette in his
Yeah.
hand when he has pictures taken. So now all the pictures you can kind of see him. It looks like he's just making this weird finger gesture, but it's because they edited out all the cigarettes from his
Oh,
hand.
interesting.
Yeah, he smoked like a chimney, man.
Yeah.
Now on anywhere I am at, if there are cameras, I'm just gonna be like,
Just do the Disney.
Oh, they Disney's Jack.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to be associated with Walt Disney. He was kind of a fan of Hitler, I believe. Not the nicest guy in the world, but
yeah.
you can't fault the work.
Yeah, somebody that becomes that popular. I mean, there's got to be some skeletons in that closet. There's got to be some shit under the hood that, you know what I mean?
I think it's above the hood. I think Tom just told us about it.
I mean, from his perspective, though, stuff that he keeps behind. Maybe he didn't keep it behind the scenes. I guess I didn't follow a lot of him, and I know it was a different time. Was he public about supporting Hitler or liking Hitler? Or
He was just an anti-Semite, and I think probably a lot of that is he's like, can't make it in Hollywood. It's run by the Jews type of thing. I'm not necessarily
Oh.
saying that he was like a fan of National Socialism or anything like that, but he was a pretty raging anti-Semite. But as you said, I mean, this was during the time where they'd be like, country clubs are like no coloreds, no Jews and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
was not that it's an excuse, but it was way more prevalent.
Oh yeah, it was the norm. It was normal then.
Yeah.
You're allowed
Thank
to
God
smoke on
we've-
TV.
Yeah. I was gonna say, thank God we got past all that anti-Semitism and racism as a country. We're just killing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Doing a bang up job out there.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it'd been over this quick?
I think what Tom is trying to say is the world is fucked and fuck Walt Disney.
Yes. That's a pretty good summation of my overall ethos. Yes.
Okay. And with that, let's just turn our attention, unless you guys had any other picks on soundtracks. Anyone?
Baby Driver.
Mm,
Hmm.
that was a good soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
One
big
I'll throw-
soundtrack too.
What's that?
It's a big soundtrack. It's like 20 some songs on it.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a good movie. I just don't remember the music.
Well, it was
It's
that
all the
genius
music that
conceit.
was the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're like, he has to be listening to music all the time because he's got tinnitus, so they just
Oh,
had an
that's
excuse
right.
to constantly be playing music. Yeah.
hmm Just the
Was
way
Kevin
everything
Spacey in that?
moved with the music. Yes. Yeah, he's the
That was
boss,
like his
basically.
last movie before his fall from grace, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a line he says in there that is something like, I love the set of balls on that boy or something like that. Like at some point.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had watched that movie after all that stuff happened with him, and that stood out like a sore thumb. Just I was
Yeah.
like, oh man,
What?
Yeah. Kevin, you should go for
there's
rewrites, man. You should have been like, hold on, something's gonna
Yeah.
come out pretty soon that I don't want to.
Jesus. Wow. One more I'll just throw out really quick. I won't go into too much explanation because I don't think it needs it. Perfect road trip soundtrack. Dumb and Dumber soundtrack.
oh yeah, that's been on my mind all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitive. It never gets old. It's just the best.
hmm
Man.
Oh God, what was that song? She don't eat meat, but she sure like the bone. Mary
Oh,
Mel.
Mary Moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who was
Yeah.
that? The Butthole Surfers? Was that who that was?
No, I don't remember. I've got it. I could probably pull it up real quick. No, I'm not going to pull it up. I'll
Oh,
take
Dead Eye Dick.
Dead Eye
Eye
Dick.
Dick.
That's
Yeah,
it.
who it
new
was.
age girl. We got
Yeah.
a new age girl. Yeah, there we
Tell
go.
us what she's like.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I wanted to listen to that song so bad and get that version, but I got some new performed version or something like that. That's not.
Uh,
It's only a few years old, and there's just something that's not the same about it. And I don't like it.
I see on here that the Butthole Surfers are doing a cover of Hurdy Gurdy Man, the Donovan song. I gotta check that one out after the show.
That's out there. I
nice.
love the opening song, Peter Pumpkinhead, but it's done by the Crash Test Dummies. Fuck.
You don't need to convince me the Crash Test Dummies are great, guys.
So good. So good. Then there's Where I Find My Heaven was another good one. Was that like Gigolo Ants? Or maybe I'm confusing songs and bands. Anyway, check it out.
Yeah,
if
no,
you
that
have-
is Gigolo Ants. That's a good pull.
Okay. So good. The whole thing, front to back, great. And there were a
And the
few
movie
songs.
really holds up too, by the way. I've watched that one recently. I watched that with my son, who's like 10. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Like,
Oh yeah, it's so fun. Did you watch the sequel? And I'm not talking about the prequel, but like the Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh, I think I did. Maybe when it originally came out,
Yeah.
didn't really hold up.
It did not do the same thing. And it's
No.
funny because when that soundtrack came out, I went into it knowing it'll never be as good as the first, but I still was hoping for a great time, and wasn't that great. A few good songs, but again, going back to what Rob said at the top of this, the songs that all flow together, songs that were never had any business together but can flow together, kind of a thing. Great soundtrack. And with that, let's move right on to talking with you guys about your new album, Enterprise. So excited to talk about this. I've got to listen to it through a few times. I have some favorite songs on there that I'm going to have to ask you about. But before we get there, for the people who weren't here the last time you guys were on, can you tell the listeners, the viewers, a little bit about yourselves?
Sure thing. We are the Beverly Crushers. We're a Star Trek The Next Generation tribute band. Our continuing mission is to write songs from the perspective of Star Trek characters, next generation characters, I should say, exploring their hopes and dreams and their weird kinks within the context of that universe.
Yeah, and it's such a character-based show that they give you a lot of meat to work with. You really feel like you get to know the characters, and that allows you to try to plumb the depths of their psychology. And then also half the time we just write songs about how the holodeck is fucking awesome, and we would love to.
Hell yeah.
It would be pretty awesome. I would never leave. I don't think
Yeah.
I'd ever leave.
No, I definitely would never leave.
Well,
it
they
would
got to mop
definitely
up
get
every once in a while.
exactly.
Gross. So, what inspired this album, guys? Where does Enterprise come from? If I'm not mistaken, this is the second full release from the Beverly Crushers following Sick Bay.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Tom and I have been working together, playing music together in bands for Geez, Tom, it's been a long time, I guess.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years or something.
Feels like band parent practice never really ended since our 20s. And the whole band started as a writing prompt exercise. We were having a lot of fun, jamming, improvising. These are the kinds of things that we had always joked about because we grew up with the show. And we were just like, wouldn't it be funny if we wrote about Star Trek? And I think we each went away from that conversation, probably at the bar, and each wrote a song like pretty quickly and brought them back. And we're like, oh, this has legs. Like, let's keep rolling here.
Yeah, I think part of our goal was always that we knew the premise was going to be amusing, but we wanted the songs to be serious. Like, we want to have like people be like, oh, it's like that joke thing that you do. And you're like, yes, but the songs are really serious. Like, we actually do put a lot of care into the songs.
I would say our aesthetic is take a silly idea and treat it with dead seriousness.
Yeah, we're like Michael Caine when he was in the Muppets movie and he just like never acknowledges that they're Muppets for the Christmas Carol, you know? It's like that.
He's going to bring his A game no matter what. No, I got to appreciate that. And it shows in the music because they're not just quick, like quippy, funny songs with just basic chords. They're intricate songs, especially like Holographic Fantasy. Jesus Christ, man. What a great song. But I got to ask, who's shredding? Who's melting the face off me at the end of that song?
That's me, Rob.
Take the compliment, Rob. It's a great solo.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
I had to listen to it like 2 or 3 times when I first heard it. Like, it just keeps getting faster and better and just doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
Thanks, man. Well, I worked hard on it. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I have to say for the album, Rob put in a lot of the work in terms of adding the extra layers, doing like the extra step to make something, sound more full or be more developed. So that's always been one of his strengths, is just he's not going to let the project just kind of, he always wants to bring something to its completeness before we're ready to put it out. So bravo to him on that, because I think it shows.
Well, that's a very sincere compliment, Tom. Thank you very much. But if anyone's wondering how we, people make these things as independent musicians, I should say that like Tom and I will write songs, we'll practice with a band, we'll go into a studio and we'll usually lay down the bass track, drums, bass, guitar, keyboard. And then we've gotten really good at then taking that home and in our home studios where we are sitting right now talking to you, doing a whole bunch of other things, experimenting, adding background vocals, cool harmonies, other little one-off lines and things of that nature. But what we might call home producing the material.
Wow. So
It's a lot cheaper than doing
Oh God, I've imagined.
It is.
Yeah.
You're saying you record like the basic structure of it in the studio, and then you bring it home, and that's when you do all the adding and tinkering and
Most typically, because we don't. So this whole project started as something where we were remote from each other and couldn't get together that often. And so by its nature, we developed this system of demoing songs on our own and then getting together for like 1 or 2 band practices just to get the shape of it, and then going in and laying it down and then splitting up again. And, by the necessity, we had to do a lot on our own. But also, like Tom said, it's cheaper and you feel like you have time to think and try a whole bunch of things. And of course, with modern software and you get to experiment a lot with different sounds and things like that.
yeah. I mean, with all like the digital software that's out there, endless choices, stuff you can do. I mean, I know just what I can see in like my basic ass garage band. So I can't imagine what you guys are using. Endless possibilities there.
Honestly,
Yeah, and that's
nothing
part of
that
the
much
fun.
more complicated than GarageBand.
It's not, no, not that much, but you can believe me, we can make it more complicated if we want to. Mostly you just have to picture one of us or both of us together, possibly in a room like we're sitting right now in our little offices at home, just trying that note again. It's a little pitchy, Tom. Try it one more time. That's a little off, Rob. Try it again and again.
So how much time then, between being in the studio and at home tinkering with this album, how much time went into development here?
That's a great question. We kind of did it in chunks. So we did the band tracking pretty quickly over the course of, let's say, 2 individual month periods, little run-ups with band practice, and then going to the studio for 2 days at a time, and did that in a pretty compact amount of time over the course of maybe 4 months. And then we sort of took it home and sat with it and did our own home mixes and that. And that probably took another 4 months. So I don't have it tallied up in hours, but I'd
Sure.
say kudos to us for getting through it relatively quickly this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still been 5 years since we put out the last album, but you know.
Well, keep in mind we started the band back in 2014, so I'd
But
say
you
we're
guys haven't
speeding
been-
up.
You haven't been sitting on your hands, though. Let's not forget about Ghost Beef.
Right, right.
No, and I got to tell you, Tom and I already have another record in post-production right now that is a Ghostbusters tribute album called Stay Puffed.
Yeah.
Can you see my notes, dude? Like, seriously, I think you can. Because that's a question on my album. On my notes, was that you guys had sent some tracks a while back. And one of them being the song Janine that I just fell in love with. I still have it come up on my shuffle. I hope we can expect that in there.
That is on there
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the challenges of this not being a full-time job for us is that you end up juggling a few different projects based on who you're collaborating with and what kind of time you can get with them and where in geographical space you might be. And so, yeah, we recorded Janine originally quite a while ago and never released it. And now it's finally going to come out later this year on a full-length record. So we're excited.
That's awesome. You said later this year?
Yep, we're mixing it right now. So I have relative confidence that we're going to have the vinyl print in hand before the year is out. You never know with these things, but yeah.
Are we allowed to ask the band name there?
We're going to release it under the band name The Chop. So one of the things that Tom and I and a couple old friends have done is we basically made this. The Chop was our band in our 20s that we played a million shows together. We made an album together. We toured all around the West Coast. And as that was winding down and we were beginning families and careers, we decided to hold on to that name as a production company / musical collective. So that's how we released Ghost Beef. If you want to go look for Ghost Beef, of course, you could type in the words Ghost Beef. You all know how to spell Ghost Beef, I'm sure. But it will come up under the band name, The Chop, because we knew that was going to be a one-off, and it's under that The Chop Presents sort of label, and Stay Puffed will be the same.
Okay.
Right.
So the album itself will be called Stay Puffed.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Oh, man, I cannot wait. So you guys are going to be back on here within the
All right.
next
Yeah.
year.
Very
hell yeah.
excited.
Sounds like.
And believe me, it's a hard left turn from where Ghost Beef was.
But that's what's so great about you guys, though. That's something I was going to say is, a lot of bands, you guys are jumping from Star Trek to Ghostbusters to Arby's. Typically that would be like under one band name, like a band with all these different. I'm having trouble saying what I'm trying to say. It's awesome that you guys can just be like, I want to do this kind of an album, and the band name will be called that. You don't limit yourself to one band name. You can be, you're being whoever you want to be in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's partly because of how we came up. We had a traditional band, which was trying to get their name out there, trying to play shows, trying to book shows, trying to get people to come to those shows. That was a long time ago, and that is exhausting on a number of levels.
Right.
And frankly, is not possible these days for any of us because we have a lot of other things going on in our lives. And now it's this project-based thing where we suggest a writing prompt that just gets us excited, and that creates the fuel that takes it through.
Yeah, for this one, we had done a session a long time ago, like out in the foothills of the Sierras, basically, at a recording studio, out here in California. And then we finished it off like last summer. We all just went to the East Coast with a bunch of friends and had them kind of come and contribute to the album as well. So it ended up being this hodgepodge of different people working on it. And I've often thought that saying like, oh, we're like a musical collective sounds a little snooty and high-minded for fucking Ghost Beef and Ghostbusters songs, but this one actually did kind of feel like that because we had like a bunch of different drummers, a couple of guys coming and playing different keys, a bunch of singers, guitar players, even a couple of other bass players. So this one really did feel like a group project in a way.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just love the idea of not being tied in. You mentioned the name and not wanting to be tied down by that, but also the genre, right? And you hear this on Beverly Crushers Enterprise. it's broadly a love letter to the 1970s, but we hop around in genre quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The song "Broccoli" was another one that was on my radar, second to last on the album. When it started. At first, I thought this sounds kind of like Janine, and then I thought maybe they repurposed Janine because I don't think they've released Janine. But then, like halfway through the song, that big crescendo comes up, and then it turns into like this like powerful like 90s epic. You know what I mean? Like it reminds me of a 90s sound, and I hope you take that as a compliment because I certainly mean it as one.
I was trying to rip off Weezer for that song, so
Oh,
I'm glad. I'm glad it came through.
okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I feel perfectly fine saying that then.
Yeah, that was actually one that we had originally recorded for Sick Bay, and it was just rocking from beginning to end, and it felt very one note and didn't really have any dynamics to it. And so we said, it's not good enough. Cut it from that, and then we decided to re-record it with a little bit of a different format and try to get a little bit of that,
Yeah.
sense of a journey to it.
It's such a good song.
Yeah.
And then the last one, The Academy, kind of reminded me of the last song off your last album. Though the last song off Sick Bay was more of like felt like a drinking song kind of a thing. This is more of like a slower, like Irish folk song kind of feel to it.
Yeah, The Academy is a war song or an anti-war song, I suppose, in the guise of an acoustic Irish drinking, Simon and Garfunkel-esque arrangement. I think anytime you put something in 3/4 time with an acoustic guitar, it kind of sounds like a drinking song. That's a bit of a trope.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny
Never
you guys
thought
keep
about
saying
that.
Irish because when I was doing the backup vocals for that, I realized that the whole time I was like subconsciously doing like an Irish accent while I was singing. Not even on
I
purpose.
think it
was
just
doing
happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was afraid to say it actually when I first said Irish because I was like, I can't be certain that that's the sound they were going for, but that's the way it kind of come across to me. So,
Well, we
if you're
do both
saying
have
that's,
Irish heritage, so we're
Yeah, our
perfectly
DNA
fine
just
with
kicked
that.
in. It was like,
you couldn't
Right.
help it if you wanted to, could you?
yeah.
Right. But that's, in terms of songwriting and what the project is about, I'll say that was a slightly difficult one for me because I had written that song quite a while ago, but it only kind of tangentially references Star Trek via Starfleet Academy. Really, it's an anti-war song. And I remember, Tom, you even expressing some trepidation about like, well, this needs some more comedy in it, or this needs some more references. And I also wasn't sure how it was going to fit, but ultimately I'm happy at how it came together.
Sure. And you touch on something great there where, that song you might only mention Star Trek slightly. It's an anti-war song. This is not an album that only Star Trek fans are going to enjoy. You don't have to know a thing
No.
about Trek. You're going to love this album. Like, because I know very little. I know more than probably somebody who knows nothing, obviously, but I would never call myself a Trekkie and love these albums. So just want to put that out there to anyone who's watching.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, that's definitely the goal. We think of ourselves, well, we've been playing music and writing music for pretty much our entire lives at this point. We care a lot about it. We put a lot of care into it. And we like to laugh as much as anybody and make little references. And there's a lot of little Easter eggs in there for sure. But at its core, it's about writing songs that work as songs and that I think tap into some level of human emotion, whether it's Broccoli, which Tom wrote, which is a terrific song about someone trying to fight for their place in the crew, at work, and being frustrated by how they're being relegated, things like that.
Can totally
how people
relate to
perceive
that.
them and stuff. Yeah. Wow.
Maybe that's why that song is ringing so hard with me. I've kind of experiencing that in my personal life. So,
we appreciate you listening to the record and commenting upon it. And it's funny as we're talking about it. I think that kind of the Star Trek Enterprise as a workplace is a general theme running through the album. So maybe that just says something about where we're at in our lives and what we think about all day.
Yeah, seriously.
Because I wrote a song called Chains of Command about how Picard doesn't really like being a leader sometimes. Being a manager is kind of a drag. There's a song about Troy on Just a Pretty Face, feeling like she's not getting the opportunities she's in line for her, maybe because she's a woman. Like we just mentioned, the broccoli song.
Yeah. And then you got a drinking song at the end for when the workday is done. It's like, now I need to go get a
Exactly.
drink. Yeah.
See, you gave me a whole nother level to love it on. I like that. I'm gonna have to listen to it again with different ears on.
I know the chuckle I had listening when the listener came on, and I kept hearing Guinan's name. I just cracked up every time. I don't know why. It was just because I don't know, just that character.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to like take a drink every time you say Guinan in that song, you die of
Yeah.
alcoholism listening by the end. It comes up kind of a lot.
I love that song. That's a Tom song. He wrote an amazing, really fun bass line for that in addition to writing the rest of the song. And that is kind of our tribute to, or Tom's tribute to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
the best of the 70s musicals.
Boy, this rings back. I feel like this somehow came up one of the last times we talked. Jesus Christ Superstar.
Rob
It
talks
did.
about it all the time.
Totally possible.
Okay, fair.
I had that same thought too. I was like, wait a minute, that came up last time somehow.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't certain. What about the album cover to Enterprise? Which I would imagine was done by the same person who did the Ghost Beef cover. Very intricate, lot going on. It kind of like at a glance reminded me of like a Where's Waldo spread because there's so many little people in there to look at. Who are you guys doing the cover as well, or who's doing that?
No, we found an amazing artist online, just met them through this project, but they were really, after talking to them, they were really excited to take it on. They were a Star Trek fan. The guy's name is Eric Solar. He's based in Brazil. And he actually pitched the concept to us, I think, Tom, that was like, oh, Enterprise as disco ball with people dancing. We're like, oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, totally. And he had all of the alien races and stuff, and even the old references to some of the earlier episodes where men would wear the unisex skirt like outfits and stuff like that. That was all him. We didn't tell him to put that in there.
Wow.
Yeah, so I agree. It's beautiful. He did an amazing job, and he really approached it with gusto in a way that you're always hoping if you find a graphic designer like that they're going to be really engaged with the project. And so he really went above and beyond.
It shows. It's very intricate, very detailed. Yeah, keep hold of that guy. For sure. So what about live performances? Are we going to see any of these songs coming up, being performed live in the near future?
That's
We're
the
trying.
hope.
We're trying. Yeah.
We're working on that right now. Believe it or not, our band, the Beverly Crushers, has never played a live show to date.
Never?
One
What?
single show. Yeah. We're all
Right.
almost like boring middle-aged men with jobs and responsibilities, and we live in different areas from each other now, so it's a little difficult. But we're going to
Yes.
make it happen. We've been trying to figure out a way that we can all get together and make it happen. Similar approach of everybody just has to come really well prepared because the arrangement that you're going to do live is going to be different than the arrangement that you did for the album. You can't have all
Right.
of the parts. We don't have enough musicians to cover that. So if everybody comes and they're very well practiced, we can maybe get 2 or 3 practices in and then play a show. That's our hope to
Yeah.
be able to do that.
All that, plus you got to be playing and looking at your instrument through all those prosthetics we're going to be wearing on stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Or a visor, whatever we're going to be looking through.
Yeah.
It's like Mac Sabbath. You ever seen those guys?
I
Oh
have.
yeah.
I can't imagine how that Grimace player, or like anyone in Guar for that matter,
Right.
can see what they're doing, or I don't know. I'd fuck it up.
Totally. What I always love to think about is are bands like Guar in full costume in the rehearsal room? Because that's kind of the only thing that makes sense. If you want to get good at playing with a freaking bear trap over your face, you need to practice.
That's true. You
Yeah.
would have to think so, right? I mean, just I would imagine like the same way like Kiss would have had to have practiced wearing,
Those
8-inch
platforms. Yeah.
platform
Yeah.
boots because not everyone can do that, and you can easily break a fucking heel doing that.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how often they wash those costumes and how terrible they must smell. It really has to be just another level of
Yeah.
stench.
How often you hope they wash the costume?
Yeah.
They probably smell pretty fucking bad.
I remember there was a band in San Francisco a long time ago called Goblin Cock that would play in just full on like black masks over their face, every like hooded. They all look like they were like the Grim Reaper, but all black, black gloves and everything. And one of the guys in there just being like, "Yeah, every time I have to put that thing on, I'm like, I should have washed this before I put it on. It smells so fucking bad."
Yeah.
Yep.
Commit. You
Reminds
gotta
me of
commit.
gym class in high school. Like, yeah, I should have taken
Yeah,
it.
really.
So was there? I couldn't tell if that was just a tinge of humor or if you were serious about actually wearing the prosthetics and costumes when you guys play live.
We're still a relatively low budget affair. Maybe if all your listeners buy a copy of our record, we can get the prosthetics going.
Ooh.
But we're definitely gonna wear costumes because we do love costumes.
Yes. I mean, when
What-
in
At
our
least
old
the
band, The Shop,
Starfleet suit, right?
Oh yeah,
Something.
we'll get something. We used to have a
Maybe-
confetti budget back in the day. Like we like to have a bit of a
Yes.
spectacle going on, so we'll
Well,
figure
why
something
not?
out.
Go big
Yeah.
or go home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
We
maybe we can
played-
find some face makeup and plastic Vulcan ears and shit to send your guys' way. Help the cause.
We
Yeah,
love the
yeah.
theatrical visual element of music for sure. So we will always make that a part of the show.
Yeah,
Please-
I really want a Klingon forehead.
Yeah, that'd be tight. That'd be tight. It'd be hard to play guitar though with a Geordie visor on. I would have to imagine. Shit. What was I going to say? Oh yes, film it. Film that shit and put it on YouTube if you get it if it happens. Because I would love to watch a live show.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I will also say that we have a long history of playing our worst shows whenever we know they're being filmed.
Call that the red light fever.
Yeah.
So are there videos out there of you guys playing live?
As
From
the
back in the
Chop.
day, the Chop. Yeah.
Yes, we played a bunch and we would periodically convince someone to record us. This is in the early days. This is pre-iPhone or early iPhone anyway days. and
I've
so
got
they
some
weren't
videos like that.
always the best quality, but we also met the occasion with some of our worst shows as well.
Yes. Yeah. We did a 60s themed prom where we all got dressed up and we played, like whiter shade of pale and shit like that. Like it was.
We not just dressed up, we all literally had tuxedos that we
Yeah,
found at the
yeah.
vintage store with the ruffles and everything.
Yeah.
Wow,
Put
I
up a
bet you
photo
guys
booth.
were
It was great.
burning up by the time that was over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was playing drums at the time, and so if anybody does happen to find that video, I apologize. I was not a very good drummer, but I'm pretty sure I was shirtless by the end of it, just pouring sweat.
It's all part
I
of the
got
fun.
some looking around to do online, it looks like. But well, I want to remind everyone to go to Bandcamp is where you can find their album, and also at thebeverlycrushers.com. That's how we did it. That's how you guys can do it too. Where else should we be directing people, guys? I know you have your Instagram at the Beverly Crushers.
I think you hit the important ones. We're on Instagram. The Instagram points you to Bandcamp. Of course, the record is available on all streaming services everywhere. And not 100% sure when this is going to come out, but Tom and I are going to shortly record for our own podcast about the making of the record and go into some of the real nitty gritty of it on 1001 Album Complaints.
What a great podcast, by the way. And for people who don't know, they sit down and talk about and dissect some of the most popular albums of our time, correct?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
and we
Yep.
shit on them. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
We
Nothing wrong
talk
with
like
that.
musicians talk at the bar about whatever might come on the jukebox, which is not always the most complimentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
it's a
it
good way
comes
to-
from a place of love.
When do you guys plan on releasing that episode?
It'll be in the next. It'll be sometime in March.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think this will probably be coming out toward the end of March, early April, or somewhere in there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Go check it out. I think it should be available if you want to hear even more details about how the heck we did this.
Yes. And listen to our friends make fun of it too, which is
Oh,
also
that's
gonna
right.
be, yeah.
Tom's right. We did because see, here's the thing. Because on the show every week we complain about much greater artistic achievements than we will ever produce. We put it to our audience to complain about our album as well. So we will be reading some of those just to show that we can take it as well as dish it out.
That will be fun.
Yeah.
That will be a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Are you guys doing a video format of that show, or is it just the audio still?
We have
Just
faces
audio,
for
yeah.
radio, Jeremy.
So do I.
So do we. Yeah.
No, we've only just started trying within the past like year, trying to really grow our YouTube, and it's proving challenging. So I was going to ask for tips if you had any.
None here. Yeah.
I'm open to your tips.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll keep the search goes on. But once again, go to Beverly Crushers, thebeverlycrushers.com, and 1001 album complaints can be found on any podcast player out there. Guys, thank you so much for being here and for sending the codes over for the album. I hope you guys don't mind at the end of the album, if the viewers, listeners stick around, I'm going to play one of the songs from Enterprise.
Of course. Play them all.
Sounds fantastic.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a
guys.
blast.
Yeah, within the year here on that Ghostbusters album. You're
Hell
definitely coming back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're excited for that one. That's been a long time coming. Long time coming.
Say so.
Yeah.
And based on the few songs I've heard from it, it's going to be damn good. I'm excited.
All right.
It's an honor, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Jack, what do we got on the website, sir?
Go to cannedairpodcast.com where you can listen, like, follow, subscribe, become a patron, buy some merch, follow us on all our social media, check out some of our special guests, and if you'd like to be a guest and promote your work, send us an email on our contacts page.
1212. Don't forget to find us on Instagram at canned_air and on TikTok at Canned Air Podcast, and the website Jack was just talking about, cannedairpodcast.com. A few different ways on there for you to support us. A merch tab, which gets you just that: t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, hats, stickers, all that kind of stuff. Canned Air logo on it, and designs made by Joshua Bellis that are inspired by like Ninja Turtles and Star Wars, stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. And if merchandise isn't your bag, more content can be found at patreon.com/CannedAirPod for only $5 a month, people. A catalog going back almost 5 years. So I think you're getting bang for your buck there. $5. Come on. And if you don't have money to support us, just leave us a like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps too. And I think, unless anybody has anything else, Jack, Tom, Rob, anything else before we go?
I'm spent.
No, good.
I'm spent.
Great.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone, and be excellent to each other.
Friends agree they can't unsee these yellow